Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and the market's a little flat. XRP $2.19. Not much to talk about there. I did want to show you this. This guy, he kind of summarizes where things are at and why they're there in crypto and all that. Watch this.
Most altcoins are now sitting at levels lower than they were before Donald Trump won the US election. What the heck is going on? Now, to say it's been an eventful few months for crypto since Trump took office is an understatement. First, there was the Trump meme coin launched before his inauguration. Then, a few hours later, the Melania meme coin. Then, a couple of days after that, he freed Ross Ulbricht, enacting one of his campaign promises. There's been constant talk of a US strategic Bitcoin reserve and a US strategic altcoin stockpile as well. But of course, the big disaster was the launch of the Libra meme coin just a few weeks ago that was backed by the president of Argentina and has completely destroyed the whole meme coin narrative in crypto and really taken the wind out of its sails. However, in terms of price action, the biggest disaster has been Trump's tariffs. These have sown uncertainty across not just crypto, but all markets, and are the main reason we're seeing so much bleed across virtually every price chart. But on a positive note, we did get a crypto summit at the White House and executive orders establishing the creation of that Bitcoin strategic reserve and that digital asset stockpile as well. So it's certainly been an eventful few months. The tariffs are going to make the next few months probably even more eventful. This is a tough time to be in crypto.
I don't believe it's a tough time at all. I think the tariff, anytime you have a big change in anything in life, at first it makes people nervous, just like it's making the markets nervous now. But I was listening to something yesterday. They were talking about how Canada was charging us like 600% tariffs on cheese or something versus our 0 or whatever. So what's being done is very commonsensical, but on the front end, we're having to deal with a lot of nerves in the market and all. And what you're really seeing is negotiations that are being done publicly. So everybody's making these little threats back and forth. But what will ultimately happen is, and this is what I believe Trump's doing, is he's basically, you got to start the negotiation somewhere. And he's starting it by saying, we're going to match what you do. And then when they come back, and eventually these guys will sit down and something will be worked out. And guess what? Then the United States has a new revenue stream that it didn't have. And they're working on cutting out all the government waste and fraud. But look what's been happening while all this has been going on. This is what they're not going to show you on Bitcoin Desk or Bitcoin Telegraph or CNBC. Look what digital asset on the year has outperformed them all by a long shot, and that would be XRP. You might notice that XRP, even when we have these tariff-related crypto crashes and all this, XRP keeps standing right back up. It's staying in that $2 to $2.50 range. We still got the case. The case is still over XRP's head. You're having, now we've got almost, I think over 15 ETF applications. It's very clear to see what's coming. You got the market regulation in the works and all this. About the time all this tariff stuff simmers down and you start to see some of these dominoes fall, I'll just put it this way. I'm accumulating XRP on all of these downturns. And I did a lot this week, and I've positioned myself to do more if I need to. But think about this for a minute. XRP's up 214% versus Bitcoin 12.5%. XRP's still under the SEC lawsuit. Bitcoin still has its regulatory monopoly. The XRP show hasn't even begun. Now, yesterday in Congress, they had a crypto hearing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for holding this hearing, the golden age of digital assets. The goal of our digital assets policy is to make sure that the next wave of crypto and Web3 businesses emerge in basements and in dorm rooms, not in boardrooms and law firms.
I mean, that right there is a great summary of what we've been through. I've said before, the only thing I've ever gotten wrong about XRP was that, I went through the .com boom, and you kids out there that didn't experience that, it was euphoric. And the markets went nuts, and trillions of dollars came into the tech markets and everything. It was a really exciting time. The same thing is going to happen here. I just didn't realize how corrupted our government had become, where they would, instead of letting innovation flourish in crypto the way they did the Internet of Information, I didn't realize all the regulatory shenanigans that would go on to try to stop this industry. But now that's behind us. So yes, this guy's right. The same innovation we saw in garages and dorm rooms back during the .com, now you're going to get to really see it in crypto.
And that's what our digital assets policy will do. The digital assets and blockchain technology, they're democratizing the internet and our financial choices. These technologies can extend dollar dominance, lower costs, and expand financial choices. Just over a month ago, Chairman Hill and I released a discussion draft of the Stable Act. The bill establishes a framework for issuing and operating US dollar-backed stablecoins. We're now in the process of collecting feedback on the legislation as we move forward, and I'm excited for where we are today and for where we're going. Thank you for holding this hearing, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
All right. And then we have this. This is the Speaker of the House on crypto, Mike Johnson.
You talked about regulatory uncertainty. One of the areas our students are interested is in cryptos, digital assets. What do you think is likely to happen there with stablecoin bills and what the SEC gets to do, what the CFTC gets to do, what needs to happen through legislation? Is there a timeline?
That's another thing, as soon as possible. And now I'm really heartened by the fact that this president has embraced this new digital currency and crypto and blockchain and all that. We have an AI czar and crypto czar, and David Sachs, who comes from the industry and is very knowledgeable and excellent at what he does. They had a big, they had the big gathering at the White House a couple days ago, and the president said in simple terms, he said, the people who will be regulating crypto now love crypto and they don't hate crypto. As simple as that sounds, it's a pretty important formula. People who will embrace the new technology and come up with a sort of a market structure framework that will help it to flourish. We don't want other countries to jump ahead of us on this, and certainly we're in a
Gary Gensler did
competition with China on everything. It's a national security concern in some respect that we stay in front of them on AI and crypto and everything that comes from big tech. And I think we have the right people in place to do that. So they will help guide Congress. You don't want to turn Congress loose to regulate something they don't fully understand. Okay, so we had
we at the Pesaris Center are willing and ready to help them figure that out.
Okay, you've heard enough of that. Now, this is interesting. This is Caroline Butler, CEO of Digital Assets at BNY Mellon. Ripple has a long history with BNY Mellon. I'll show you that in a minute.
As the world's largest custodian with more than 52 trillion of assets in custody, BNY helps companies and banks, big and small, access the money they need. BNY plays a central role in supporting US Treasury markets and process approximately 2.4 trillion of payments per day across all payment rails.
Who's in that?
Our commitment to advancing the future of finance includes the integration of blockchain. This technology has the potential to make money move smarter and faster. Stablecoins can use these benefits to serve as a complement to the existing payment services and rails we offer our clients today.
Okay, you got that. This is from back, I think it was 2015 or 16, as I recall. Ripple Proof of Concept with BNY Mellon. Ripple Connect Software, Ripple Ledger, Ripple Connect Software. This is from banking. Those are a PDF we used to show. Now, yesterday, Franklin Templeton files a prospectus for an XRP ETF. Brad Garlinghouse retweets with the eyeballs. Uh-oh. Linda P. Jones, she has a good Franklin Templeton memory, apparently. This is from the Franklin Templeton CEO, Jenny Johnson. Bitcoin is the greatest distraction from the greatest disruption that is coming to financial services. Here's the actual clip right here.
Bitcoin is the greatest distraction from the greatest disruption that is coming to financial services. I think
an intentional distraction, by the way. We'll get more into that in the group.
AI is probably the other big disruption there, but and there's so much noise around a lot of things like FTX and others. But if you bring the technology down to its core value, it does three things. One is it allows a payment mechanism.
XRP.
Number two, it allows smart contracts to be
XRP ledger
programmed into the token. And three, because it's a general ledger, it has a source of truth. So whoever has that
XRP ledger,
that token, all rights in that token are granted to that person. So if I sell it to Frank, I don't have to go through a third party to do it. Frank gets it, and Frank gets all the rights. So my favorite example is Rihanna, who came out with...
All right, enough of that. I wanted to show, she said, the great distraction, a brief history of fool's gold. History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. What I did is I've got 10 things that happened with fool's gold over history. I'll just read one or two. In medieval Europe, a shady merchant was said to have passed off pyrite nuggets as gold to an unsuspecting noble fleeing with the payment. Number 7, French alchemist in 1500s reportedly showcased pyrite as proof of his gold-making process, duping patrons into funding his experiments. In the Black Hills gold rush of 1876, a con artist allegedly sold pyrite-laden ore samples to Eastern speculators, sparking a brief frenzy. What does all that sound? When I read those, I'm thinking of Michael Saylor and this guy. Folks, you couldn't make this up if you tried. And at the end of this, I've got some pictures. This is Pierre, whatever his name is. This is the guy that's always bashing Ripple and XRP. You must understand, and I'm going to get into it more in the group. You must understand the reason they are scrambling to get a government mandate of some kind just for Bitcoin is because they know the utility is about to be unleashed, and the level regulatory playing field is all about to be unleashed. And at that point, only the digital assets with utility will have the value, and the market will find it. These guys know that.
And so I humbly suggest that...
But it's important for you to watch this to realize how delusional they are. And while you're listening, I've told you 1,000 times, Bitcoin was created by governments to send people into this shiny fool's gold away from the real value, which is hard assets like gold and land and those type of things. I can assure you, I will be, when I cash out, not all, but when I cash out, I believe that the future is for the digital assets with real utility. But I will have a cash out moment for some of my XRP, not all, never. But when I do, it will go into hard assets, paid for real estate, gold, physical gold, okay? These clowns are trying to tell the government to sell the U.S. government's gold. I mean, if you've ever needed a reason to have your red flags go up on these Bitcoin people, this is it. And at the end, I showed you just some photos of Trump, who built his entire image on gold.
It would be a really great idea to put all of that gold in Fort Knox that is collecting dust and put it to productive use in the American economy. And in particular, in next year, we have the 250th anniversary of this great nation, 1776. Wouldn't it be wonderful to have a line of jewelry commemorating that moment so that President Trump can actually sell the gold at a premium and have a tremendous appreciation of value that we can apply towards Bitcoin.
Wrong video. I forgot. It was another video I had put out yesterday where I put all the pictures of Trump in his gold rooms at Mar-a-Lago and his gold logo and all that. These people are sick, folks. I've always believed that there's a reason that you have the Bitcoin marketing machine. I believe that I believe it's a government design. I think a lot of these people, I'm not saying he is, I'm just saying I think a lot of these people are government operatives that are there to pump the price of this thing so that to keep everybody away from gold while it's accumulated by the central banks, the smart money, and to give these people exit liquidity into hard assets like gold, land, and that kind of stuff. We're going to talk. I'm going to show you a really good clip in the group. We're going to go over more of that, and we're going to talk more XRP. If you want to join the group, you go to daixrp.com to join through the Patreon. You have another option below the link below this video. Click the join button on YouTube. You can join through YouTube if that's the way that you prefer. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.